What is going on, guys, and welcome to the mid-season review, transfer review episode. Now, I didn't have time to record at this point and then at the end of the transfer window, so this is all in on one video today. Hopefully that's okay with you, which means 3 videos this week for this season. So we're starting with the European rankings, and we tumbled 8 places. 8, but it's a tumble. Down to 40th in the European club rankings, and competition-wise, we dropped 1 place to 25th. Now, in terms of the coefficient-wise, it's going to be an interesting one. So we are 23rd, you can see here, second one down. We will start the new season on 19.875 points. Now, the issue with that is 1, 2, 3 teams below start with higher points than us, and nobody above starts with less, which means we're going to struggle to hold on to this 23rd place spot. So looking at how things have been going in the league this season, very successful, scoring a lot more goals than last season with just the odd little tweak here and there tactically. We started the season off with a 10-0 victory. Yep, that's right, 10. Now you can see we had a very successful start to the season before I switched to a wing-back tactic as I wanted to start preparing for the summer and the Champions League, and I thought, let's give that tactic a go, and we drew 1-1. And when I reverted back to the other tactic, we then scored 7 against HB after putting 10 past them earlier in the season. So yeah, you can see looking down, that tactic didn't come back out. It didn't come back out, but just kind of expected at that point, isn't it? Just kind of expected. We're not going to throw that tactic back out after the disastrous TB game, a 1-1. So league-wise then, we are top after 20 games, already qualified for Europe. 11 points clear with a game in hand. Very, very comfortable in the league again. Now, in the Super Cup, very interesting Super Cup game, we were 3-1 up. We were 3-1 up before we conceded 2 in the last 6 minutes, taking into extra time. The game ended up going to penalties, which we won. But, yeah, I made a couple of substitutions and it backfired, shall we say. So I brought on the young central midfielder, the Finnish guy who we looked at in the previous episode, Olander, who has come up into the first team this year, Diallo and Hansen as well, the young Norwegian defensive mid. We won the Super Cup, but it was definitely tighter than I probably would have wanted it to be. So looking at the Champions League qualifying rounds, we played Sheriff and got a 3-1 first leg victory. Mishan and McDool on the score sheet. McDool we'll get to when we look at the transfers. Before a 6-0 victory away from home, Lidlskara, Gonzalez, Olander getting 2 and Mustafa getting 2 as well. We then played Slovan Bratislava and got a 4-0 victory. Mishan with 2 and Bjorn Hag, after his loan away, has come back and picked up a couple of goals. Before a 2-0 victory at home, McDool and Lidlskara on the score sheet. Very comfortable, very easy, on to the playoffs. Now, we played SJK in the playoffs and got 3-1 victory at home. Bjorn Hag on the score sheet again. One of the last times you will see him, because he decided to cry like hell that I wouldn't change his status to an important player. He's not an important player. That's why I wouldn't change his status to important player. Now, we did have to go to extra time to get into the Champions League group phase. They beat us 3-1 in 90 minutes, taking in extra time, 2 3-1 games. We scored in the 96th minute, Lidlskara on the score sheet, which saw us go through into the Champions League group phase. Now, the Champions League group phase, we have been shit on, I would say, is probably the best word. We have some insanely tough games. So, we start with Newcastle away. Then we have Atlanta at home, Juventus at home, and RB Leipzig at home, before Bournemouth away, who are a very good side now, Besiktas away. Then we have Barcelona at home and Bayern Munich away. That's insane. We've got Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Leipzig, Juventus, and Newcastle, I would say, are all the big teams. Leipzig, Juventus, Newcastle, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, yep, it's... Oh, that's an insanely tough Champions League draw. In the next episode, obviously end of season review, you'll find out how this has gone. I've actually played half of it because I've been playing over the weekend and I record during the week. I don't get time to record in a small apartment on a weekend. On an evening, my missus is watching TV, and during the day, I don't play Football Manager during the day on the weekend when my kids are here. So we are on to transfers, and 125 million has gone through the club. Ins and outs. So let's get on to it, shall we? Since you were last with us then. So Christensen, our right back, left for Le Havre for 4 million. Henry Pereira, our Colombian central defender we brought back from Porto, has left us again. 7.5 million plus 50% the next sale. The only reason I let him go was we had too many foreign players. And we did have some good defenders, and I brought one back as well, a former legend of the club. So we could do that. Faroe, the goalkeeper we picked up last year, I think it was. We've ended up letting him go out on loan with the potential they are going to sign him. They are paying his wages as well, which is nice. So he's gone. Levang has gone to Vikingur Goethe. For 24.5 million plus a percentage of next sale, Rotterud has left us, our young Norwegian winger. Very disappointing because he's a very good player. But they came in, no, it was Inter Milan came in with about 12 million and I rejected it. And you know where you do the talk, say if they come in with a reasonable bid, then I'll accept it. We agreed on 24 million and I got 24.5 plus I think it's about 40% the next sale I managed to sneak into that. Koskinen, the young Finnish central mid who did play some games, 8 games for us, has gone on loan to KI to get regular football. So hopefully he can settle in there and do well. This is a sale I'm not happy with. Franklin. So he came and Man City put in a bid at the start of the window. I rejected it, obviously. I mean, look at him. And he came and said, I want to go. Man City are a club I want to play for. I said, no. And he said, okay, then I'm not going to come to training. Then my whole squad called a meeting to tell me they weren't happy with my treatment of him. My treatment of him. So we've ended up letting him go. 13.25 million plus 50% of next sale. So I'm hoping if he goes for like 60, 70 million from Inter, back to the Premier League, for example, we might end up with 35, 40 million from that. João Esperetta, the young right back, has gone on loan to Lillestrøm. He was on loan at Hamstad. Was fuming that they were playing him as a full-back and not a wing-back. I hate that. I hate when people kick off like that. But they did it. Eggleston has gone on loan to MB, a youngster we have. Schritzhoff has left us for Michelin. We've ended up selling him for 1.6 plus 50% the next sale, so I do hope we can get some money from that. Now, Bjorn Haag, that is why I said you wouldn't see him again, because he's gone to Braga for 4 million. 4 million plus 50% next sale. He basically demanded I made him an important player. And no. Whilst he was a good goal scorer, he's not a dominant player, world-class player, so no. Diallo's gone to Juventus. Only 600k plus 50% the next sale, which isn't the best, but he is valued at 30 million now. 600k, now at 30 million. Can't bloody win. Couldn't get rid of him. He wanted to leave. I couldn't even get 2 million. I couldn't even get 1 million for him. No one was offering. And then we've let him go. Oscar Sundström, he's been asking for the last year and a half now. They wanted to leave the club to go and get more first team football. He never kicked up a fuss. He always actually had a lot of respect. So we've ended up letting him go now. An offer came in. We saw him for 2 million. Plus 50%, and yeah, we wish him well. He was with us from 2035 to 2046, so yeah, we wish him well. He did a good run for us, didn't he? But let's look at the ins. So the first one is our second official Wonderkid signing of the season. McDowell comes in, media description Wonderkid, comes in from Norwich for 18 million. And yeah, driven personality, 20 determination, pace acceleration. He came in after we agreed to sell Rotterud. Now the issue there was we had too many foreign players, hence Pereira leaving in defence to facilitate this Wonderkid coming in. I do think one of the things we've got to acknowledge is the fact we can only have 4 non-Scandinavian players in the starting 11, and it can make things tough at times. But he comes in for 15, rising to 18. Coming in to replace Pereira, coming back to the club, is Michael Meng for 2.1 million, but we had a 50% of next sale on that, so he's only cost us $1 million. After being with us for 9 years, leaving the Cardiff for $9.5 million, he's come back to the club. And he's easily good enough to play. He only come in on a fringe contract as well, so if we do end up getting one of the youngsters developing, he is happy to sit on that bench. So really happy with that. Now, coming in as a potential future striker, this guy came in after Franklin left us. So we end up selling Franklin. We've signed Mustafa, not from the Lion King. That's Mufasa, isn't it? Maybe we should rename him Mufasa. 3.7 million. Perfectionist personality. I'm honestly really pleased with this guy. I think he could develop into a very good striker for us. So 3.7 million, I think, is money well spent on him. Next one is another striker coming in who's going to be in our B team. But Pontus Fransson, 19 years old, has the same type of attributes, heading-wise and stuff, as Bjornhag did. I don't think that's a bad sign for 1.5 million. I'm interested to see how he's going to develop. Next player, picking up on a free transfer. I was looking through released players at Premier League clubs, and this Jamie Allen popped up. He is a winger stroke striker. He can play both feet. I decided on a free transfer he's worth a punt, because in a year's time we might be able to move him on for, say, 5 million. So it's profit, but he's actually quite a good player. So I'm happy with him coming in on a free. And then I've picked up, to add some depth to the wing attacking mid position, I've picked up 2 players who I'm really, really pleased with and excited to share. So Martin Hjelle comes in, Norwegian right winger stroke striker, balanced personality, so it's okay. 6'1", so he is good in the air, height-wise, shocking heading attribute, and jump reach, to be fair. But really, really good dribbling, brave player, decent pace, accelerate, well, actually, quite average pace. Good acceleration, he can accelerate, he just can't run after it. But I think he's a very good player, really, really pleased with him. 2.5 million, I think, is money well spent on him. And then also another Norwegian from Denmark, from FC Copenhagen, for 3.6 million, can play an attacking mid, both wings and striker. This is Sixten Furseth Amundsen. So he looks good as well. Honestly, I think we've picked up a couple of really good players there, fairly professional personality. I think we've added some good depth with them 2 players coming in at the end of the window there. Joined us literally as the window closed, and I'm really pleased with that. Took our spend of 51 million. We have 170 million in the bank. And at the start of the season, we were failing our FFP. We were close to failing it. They projected we were going to be 4.5 million in the red, and you allow 4.3. We are now projected to be 23 million profit, currently 44 million profit. So really nice to see financially in a good position. Now, one thing I wanted to mention is a couple of players I want to show you. First off, to Manchester United, they have a Swedish central defender who is here, who was at our club. So we end up selling for 4 million at Feyenoord. He's now gone for 42.5 million. We had a 50% of next sale on that. So we've ended up picking 20 million off that. So there's 20 million back in the bank, which was very, very nice and very welcome. And now let's just head over to Barcelona, because they have signed a player called Munez. Where is he? There we are, Agustin Munez. So we had him 800k, we sold him for 4.6 plus 50% of next sale. He's gone for 20 million, so there's 10 million come back in as well. So as well as that 74 million, we actually got another 30 million on them 2 player sales, and that's been a massive boost because we were down to 75 million left in the bank. We're now in profit this season. We actually almost spending $1 million a week on wages now, and obviously we're not bringing in that much. If we go to, for example, income this season, players sold 87 million, I mean, cha-ching. Prize money at 25 million. Gate receipts is only 5 million this season. If we go to expenditure this season, for example, players' wages is at 27 million. So we need to be doing these sales. We need to continue the turnover of sales with the 50% of next sale to cover the fact that we are in such a small nation. We can't afford to be doing what we're doing without the player sales. But our squad's decent. Mark Watson is a bit pissed off. A few people are a bit upset with my treatment of him because he wanted to leave. And I basically said no, because at this point we need to hold on to people. We've got Gonzalez wanted to leave. I said no. Dolner had a bid of 35 million from Manchester United for Dolner. Now he's still labelled as Wonderkid. We got offers 35.5 I think it was. I said no, and he didn't batter an eyelid, which is fantastic. But I think I would like to hold on to people best we can. Now, I do want to have a quick mention to the likes of Midskogen, who is now at the age of 30. We are looking at replacing him long term now. That's why we brought in the likes of this McDowell. We brought in Amundsen. We brought in Hjelle. So we do have some now youngsters coming through who can step in to Midskogen and Mishan. Now, Mishan is now 30 years old as well. But the positive is, he's actually having his best ever season for us. He's equalled his top goals, and he's only 3 away from his top assists in the league. In all competitions, he has 20 goals this season, so he is really, really having a good season at the age of 30. But that is it for today's episode. Hopefully you did enjoy it. I am sorry that there's not 4 episodes this week, but it's just the way it goes, and hopefully I made this episode work, and it was good for you. Thank you for watching. I've been Paul, also known as the Northman. I've been fiddling with this microphone the whole way through. I have to keep doing this. Hopefully it doesn't make loads of noise. Thank you for watching. See you next time.